Welcome to another episode of last week's Comics Today. A special guest star this week will be Band-Aid because I, stupidly, stabbed myself in the thumb with tweezers while building chainmail. And if that isn't the most ridiculous sentence I've ever said, I don't know what is. But this is actually going surprisingly well. Hopefully you will see what that's about someday. Let's talk about some comics. And we're going to start with Once Upon a Time at the End of the World. No orgies this issue, even though there is a nipple there on the cover. It kind of looks like there's an orgy. But relax, Dan. You can relax. So, last issue, we had our main characters get to a... Well, they got to the oasis that they had been looking for the entire series. And this issue is about, it's basically a time lapse. As you see there, day 947. It's what happens as their community grows. And what I find weird for a long time is just how young everyone looks, how they all look roughly the same age. There's nobody much younger. Everyone looks kind of ambiguously 20, and time does pass, but it's at some point we do get, oh, there's something. There we go. So there's a bald guy, there's somebody that's slightly older, got gray hair. Alright, somewhere else in there too, there's at least one other old person, but yeah, I just find it weird that this community is all roughly the same age, that there's no really older people or no children. It's a weird thing of the post-apocalypse. Someone is still making children, except everyone is isolated and nobody's really together, and I don't know how it happens, and I don't ultimately care, because the story's great, and it's just one of those things that's in the back of my head, like, yeah, but how is anyone alive? If nobody has any food and nobody's together, who's making children? How is anyone surviving? I don't know. It's great. It's wonderfully written. The art's amazing, and I recommend it as I have recommended it consistently. I flip right to, this is where the staples are. So if there's a question, this is why I flip to it twice. That's where the staples are. It just naturally falls open to that. I don't need to defend myself. Next up we have Barnstormers, and this is the new Scott Snyder. I have mixed feelings about Scott Snyder. I have for years thought he's not as good as he used to be, and this might be closer to a return to form. Also, art by Tula Lotay. I think people have opinions about her. I tend to be in the camp of enjoying it. I think she does amazingly well with faces, but also kind of costume design. There she is, dressed, cowboy boots. She seemingly pulls a shotgun out of nowhere in just a moment. There's another. Great with faces. There's one in particular I want to pull up. Well, I got to this and I'm like, what kind of book is this? I thought it was about planes. And it is. It is about planes. But I'm trying to show off the art here, and I will get to the story in a second, as soon as I talk about this wedding dress. So here's the thing. And I've heard this from another artist years ago, but you focus on the face, and then as you get further away from the face, you put in less details. And that is clear here, because once we get down here, this is just smudges. Right? A lot of effort up here. This is just smudges. Doesn't matter. Looks fantastic. It's all about where the eye focuses on a page. Anyway, the art's great. It is oversized. This was a digital comicsology thing, which seemingly nobody read. I was waiting for it to come to print, and now it has, and I'm reading it, and it's good. I'm going to tell you that it's good. So this is she's there on the cover in goggles. She's not, maybe she's one of the main characters. But it starts with this guy, Hawk, aka Bixby, literally. Bixby. It's a terrible name. And I read these preview pages. It starts with these couple of pages right here at the beginning. He's flying around. He's trying to earn some money. He's got these checked off on a map. And it gets to a point where he's over town, And there's a question of, would you go back and do everything? And he says, yes, I mean, everything except the murder. And I'm like, well, you hooked me now. So I got the issue. As I said, it's fantastic. There is a slight thing. There's a slight thing when it comes to swearing. And if you've seen our podcast episodes, you know I'm liberal with my swears. I don't care. I let them fly. And in this, the only thing I want to say about, well, I don't know how Dan's going to feel about that. The only thing I have to say is it feels a bit unnatural sometimes. And I have not specifically with swearing, but it's with language in general. When something doesn't quite feel right, it sticks. It's kind of a nails on chalkboard thing for me. So it feels like lines were written and then swears were inserted later rather than feeling natural, if that makes sense to anyone. It's weird. I have a weird thing with dialogue. Comics don't necessarily speak like people do, like humans do. It's a whole thing. Anyway, some of the swearing sticks out to me in this. Otherwise, the art, the story, it's phenomenal. I'm adding this to my pull list. Phantom Road, issue 5. And, I mean, the focus might be on the hammer, but look at that. This, to me, was unexpected. Focus. This, to me, was unexpected, and it's borderline, like, saga opening page. If this were reframed slightly so that this were a foreground, this maybe were in the background, and just this, oh my, this could have been a saga splash page for just like, what the hell's going on? There is plenty going on. I think this is the end. Let me fast forward here for a second. Yeah, so at the last page we get end of book 1 and nothing really is resolved. I don't know how they determined that this is the end of the arc, but whatever. It's fantastic. I think Phantom Road has pretty consistently gotten pick of the week, and I don't think it's winning this week. Nothing against the book, just I think it's going to Barnstormers, but I will figure that out at the end. This is a great continuation of a fantastic series. I am loving this as much as this other stuff. It's I'm just as confused now. Probably more confused. I'm more confused now, and it's still, I love it. This Place, issue 10. This is the last issue, and it ends really well. It wraps up some of the stuff that, I mean, it wraps up everything, but ghosts and time travel and family drama, it's all here, and it's phenomenal. I think I need a thesaurus, I think. I keep saying the same things about just how good everything is, and this is... it's great. I loved it, and I hope people read it. It's a really well done story. Fantastic art, humor, time travel, weirdness, horror. Fantastic. Please read it. Also, another final issue is Mosley, issue 5, and not everything is answered here, and I'm okay with that. There is this going on, so what the hell's up with that? You have to read it to find out, but as far as where the hammer comes from, it's things are resolved. Not everything, but the story is concluded. I would hope at this point that he gets back to Farmhand, but I'm eagerly awaiting for that. This was an intermission, I think, in Farmhand, and I would like now to finish off Farmhand. This is good. It's just not as good as some of the rest of this stuff this week. Lastly, I don't think that's true, but lastly, I have Superman John Kent, issue 5. It's wild to me. There's only one issue solicited left of this, so this is a penultimate issue, which is just, it's a fun word that occasionally gets used, and I guess you could use, probably do a custom Superman robot. Anyway, yeah, there's only one issue left, and it's wild to me that this hasn't been announced as an ongoing, that there isn't a follow-up series to this. I don't know if anyone can even tell what sales numbers are anymore with the breakup. It's not literally breakup, but with just the splintering of Diamond and comics companies going everywhere. Like, are sales charts even possible anymore? But are sales on this not good? I think it's great. It's John and Injustice, and it's two things that Taylor has been writing for years now colliding. Peanut butter and chocolate, and he does stick out like a sore thumb, but it's kind of a breath of fresh air to the dark and gloomy Injustice world. And at one point there's kind of a roll call about who's on whose side, and I forget like just how stacked Superman's side is, even though he's a straight up dictator. It's wild. It doesn't really make any sense. It does make for some fun comics. I'm enjoying this again, just not as much as some of the rest of this. This is still good. It's still recommended. Let's get to Pick of the Week, which is going... this is very close. I'm gonna... all of these are great. I think I'm gonna give it to Barnstormers, and possibly page count is a factor. Art is certainly a factor. I've enjoyed Tula Lote's style for a while, for a few years, and it's nice to see it again. I don't know what she's been working on, but whatever it was, I wasn't paying attention to it. This is a great ending. This is a non-ending. I don't know how this is the end of an arc, but whatever. This is also fantastic, but Barnstormers, just sheer volume wins me over. The story is interesting and compelling. The characters similar, and the art is phenomenal. So Barnstormers gets my pick of the week. As always, I get all of my books from a local comic shop. That's not true. I also got Young Hellboy, Assault on Castle Death. I already shot a video for this, which is why I wasn't thinking about it, but this is also great. Now, let's continue. As always, I get my books from a local comic shop. If you don't know where yours is, you can use this URL to find the one closest to you. Thanks for watching.